Hey guys, this is Chodaros, and today's tutorial will be on a fabulous design created by the one and only MsLoom. It is called the Abstracto Bracelet. So it is a rather thick, nice, sturdy design, and it rounds perfectly. And we have multiple layers. So the outside is very similar to some of other MsLoom's designs, where we have wrap bands, and we add two borders. So you can kind of see the one border is in the wrap band and the other border is sticking out. But on the second border that we add, I decided to put some 6/0 seed beads to see if we could seed bead that type of an order. And it came out great. So the inside bands these are the purple sweets, and then these are the specialty bands, the 600 pack. Is it ocean blue and pink or so? Lots of untwisting because they are thin bands, but I think it came out wonderful. I had to kind of stretch it out a tad so you could see the sides. And this is the back, and please excuse me because I did not undo all of the twisting. I need to still do that, but I did want to show you. And the area that MsLoom told us to stop is, by golly, the perfect fit for me. So super excited. This one fits perfectly, and like I said, the color combo I'm just in love with. So you're going to need a 7-pin bar setup, I believe, and lots of bands. All of the bands that are hidden underneath these blue arrow bands, we're going to be doing 4 zigzags up the loom, especially if you're doing a double loom, a full wrap. You're going to need a ton of those bands. So just make sure that you have a ton of supplies ready, and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start out with our beginning border bands. Put one there for closure, and then, as we normally do, we take them out from the center to the last pin bar. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to do mine with the every other having a 6/0 size seed bead. So I'm going to start, and we're going to loom up our single chain, or our single row, on the 2nd and 6th pin bar. So I'm going to do every other, because I'm not quite sure how it's going to look with a seed bead in that place on a border like this. Even though we already looked at it in the beginning, didn't we? So, super easy. I have faith you guys know what you're doing. Do one more. And Loom of Norway, or I'm sorry, MsLoom had stopped, if you're doing a full wrap, going from the 6th pin bar, which is one of the longest ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins down. That's where she stopped, so that's where I'm going to stop mine, right there. So if you choose to do the same, you can go ahead and put a band there for a reminder, or just remember to count down that many pegs. So let's finish up our two borders, and we'll meet back here for the next step. Okay, we have our two chains done, or borders complete. So the next step, I think we can do together 2 steps in a row instead of just one. And these are like a purple band. They're Trandex bands. So they're like a nice silicone. They're my favorite bands next to Rainbow Loom. So what we're going to do is we're going to place a band like this all the way up to the end, and this will be the wrap band. Okay, that band's going to wrap around the band that we just placed for our border. So then we do the same thing over here. Okay, and then after you go all the way up into the last band, we're going to come back down, and with the same color we used for the border on the 2nd and 6th pin bar, we're going to use on the 1st and 7th. And just going straight up. Like this. Okay? Not too difficult. Alright, so we'll take a break and complete on our own, and then whenever we get to the top of the loom, then I'll show you how we're going to mesh everything together into the center. Okay, so after we have all of our bands laid, we can now go ahead and lay our ending border bands. So we're just going to take one across, and then diagonally up towards the center, right there, and then we do the same matching or meeting on this side. Okay. All right. So our next band is going to be the band that you're going to see kind of coming out. And after we place this band, we're going to do zigzags, and that will be the color that you see that's going to be underneath. So I want to put these bands next. So we're going to go from the 2nd pin diagonally up to the 3rd pin bar, 3rd pin, and then do this on every pin going up. So you want to have a little bit of a stretchy band here. Now these are the 600 pack bands, so I am not a fan of untwisting. So I super pray that I'm not going to have to do a lot of untwisting. So then we do the same on this side. Yuck, I have this feeling I'm going to have to untwist them. Okay, so we just do this all the way up, both sides, then we'll meet back and we'll place our zigzag bands. Alright, we have all of our diagonal bands placed, and make sure that they are all pushed down, especially on these outer pin bars here, because we're going to add another layer. And I think I'm going to switch my colors up. I don't know, I was going to do like a zigzag of these two, but anywho, we're going to do a zigzag up the second and third pin bar. I think I'm just going to stay with this color. Okay. So we're always placing a band where you left off with your last. Pretty easy. And then we're going to do the same on this side. So you're starting with the second peg and then going in. And these are the sweets. I like the sweet spans. They're not hard at all to work with. If they twist, they're relatively easy to untwist. Alrighty. So let's continue our zigzag all the way to the end. We shall meet back again for the next step. Okay, so for our next two steps, we're going to do exactly what we just did. We're going to place another long stretch band. So this one comes from the third pin bar in, and the same on this side like that. And that's on every pin going all the way up. So to keep everything in order, if I place my left one first, I continue that. Always the left first and then the right. So when I go to loop them or loom them, everything is the same and even. Okay, so easy enough. Long stretch all the way up to the end of our loom. Alrighty, our last step besides adding cap bands is we're going to add diagonals up the center. So I'm going to start on the left side, and let's see, we're going to go in from this third peg to the center and then go back out. So this is going to kind of join that other zigzag. So if you're using thick bands, make sure that you're pushing your bands down, as we need to add a cap band, a triple, before I forget to say it, a triple cap band to all of the center pegs after we're done here. Okay, so then we come down and we do the same on this side, just meeting in that center, coming out from the center, back into the center. Till our whole loom is covered. All right, so add just a couple more. So I can match my other side. Okay, so once you're done putting all of those zigzags up, you're going to go and put everywhere you have a zigzag, you're going to put a triple cap band. So that's 1, 2, 3. Have 3 loops on your hook and place it on the peg in the center. So pretty much every peg in the center besides the first and last. This is obvious. This is after you're done placing all the zigzags. Okay, so let's complete that and then we may turn our loom around and start looping. All right, we are done placing bands except one last one, which we will be placing a triple cap band, the color of your border, on the first peg, right there. Okay. Try to zoom it in a bit so we can see what's going on. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into this second peg and loom up all 4 of these bands that are going into this peg here. So we have a triple cap band on top. We have to get in and we grab that first band, should be going to this bottom left peg. Hold on to your cap band. So all of these are non-traditional. We would typically go back here, but we're going to put it on this peg here. So then we grab the next band under the cap band, and it should be the top left one. And we're going to do the same, which is do not take it to the same where it came from peg, to its home peg. We're going to take it down here. So we're basically crisscrossing those 2 bands. And then we're going to do the exact same on this side. So the first band on top should go down to here, but we're going to place it up here. And then the last band is going to be placed down here. Okay? So it makes crosses. Uh-oh. Did I lose focus? Okay. So then we do the same. We go in here under our triple cap band, grab the first band on top, watch your cap band doesn't fall off. So we do the opposite and take it up to this peg, go back in, grab the next band, and do the opposite and take it down to this peg. So we're just switching the order. And doing the same on this side, we're just switching the order. So if this band is coming from here, we want to take it up here. If this band is coming from here, we want to take it down here. And just crisscrossing everything. And that is what's going to make our zigzag or arrow looking bands. I'm sorry, this is the underside. Okay, so we go into the next one in line. So you really got to pay attention on which bands you placed. Okay, remember I told you that if you're going to zigzag, start and do the left side and then come back down and do the right side? Well, you have to make sure these 2 bands are together in the other 2, and if they're not, you're going to have to loom it in the order that you have them placed to the opposite peg from each other. So in other words, if you placed your bands exactly the same each time, you should be able to zip right on up through your loom. And then make sure these are pressed down, or you can come back and push them down, but obviously we have a lot more looming to do. Alright, so here's a good example, I think. Yep, I didn't put my bands in the right order. Okay, so my next band that's on top is the band that comes down here. So I know I need to place it up here. So that's what I meant about if you didn't place your bands in the right order. Now comes the band that should be going down here. No. Oh boy. Yes, I was right. Okay, this one goes there. See how confusing it can be? Yikes, don't do that. Alright, I'll do one more. So you're always doing the opposite of where the band came from. Okay? And all of your X's will all meet up. And that's what it will look like. So let's go ahead and finish that up to the top, and we'll meet back down here at the beginning of our loom. Alright, we have our first set of zigzag bands loomed out. And our next step is going to be to loom out the diagonal bands that are coming out of the center peg. So we want to start down here in the first peg in the center. Just take that out and take it back to itself. And then the next one. Like that. So just going to make sure that you're always grabbing the one that's on top. And they are these are thin bands. They're always going back to themselves. And if you're using bands that don't have too much elasticity to them, remember, if you have it and it's tight, take it back towards you, stretch it, and then go over your peg, and it will go right up. I've actually snapped more bands doing that, to be honest with you, but that's the right way to do it. Okay, so let's break out and finish that all the way up, and then our next step will be to do another zigzag loom. Alright, so we're going to loom out the second set of zigzags on each side. So this time we go into this peg here, and we're only doing 2. Okay, so we want to go down through all these bands, grab the one that's on top, and be really careful because it's very tight. So mine didn't want to go all the way, so I'm going to go around and relieve that tension. Okay, so then I grab the next one and bring it down here. So we're doing the same. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't out of focus the whole time. So we're going to do the same concept or same stitch as we did in the center, taking it back to the opposite peg. So this one should be coming down here, but we're going to take it up. And then this one should be going up here, but we're going to take it down. Just make sure that you get under all the bands. And just take your time. I would hate for anybody to break a band. Okay, so we're making these zigzags, or X's, I guess, if you will. So then we're going to come over, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. So we want to go into this peg and grab that first band on top. And it should be coming here, but we're taking it up there. And then the next band comes down here. This one goes up, this one goes down. Again, at some point make sure that you push down those bands because we have more looming. So it's crisscross applesauce. I think it is 3 a.m. here. Silly mood. Alrighty, I think you guys got it. So let's do that all the way up, and then we will meet back here, do the next step. Alright, so we're going to do the same step as we did last time, which is go in and grab that long stretch and pull it back to itself. So we have two, one on the right and one on the left. So you can do them both at the same time. Oh, that's a tight one. Or you can go up one side and come back and do the other. So pretty simple. So after you do all of these long stretch bands, then you shouldn't have any more bands left on, let's see, your middle three pegs. You should have no more bands going up. Okay? And if you do, you're going to have to put them on a peg that hasn't been loomed yet to catch them, or you're going to have to fix it some other way. Okay, so let's finish that up. It's real tight, so be real careful. And then we can finish up with our border. All right, so we are now ready to loom up our border. So we want to start here in the center and loom out the front. So mine goes to the right. And you want to loom out the next one, and then the next one. So if you notice, the next one that we grab, if I can grab it, is not the last band on that peg. Okay, on this peg here, we still have one band down, and we're going to loom that one up when we're finished looming out the border. So we come on this side and loom that over, and this is what I was talking about. This band here that goes over to the right, and then you still have this band down here left that will loom up next. Okay, but in the meantime, we're just going to go up and loom this outer border all the way up. Okay, so on the outer side, this border lays on top, and then underneath lays another band that we placed horizontally. Okay, So just making sure that you grab the right band, only the top border band. And we just loom that straight up. And when you get to the last one on the row, you want to stop. Okay, so let's finish out that, and then we will move back to the beginning, and then we just have one more step left. All right, we are on our last step, and it's how we start is how we're going to do it the whole way up. We're going to go into this pin and take that bottom band and bring it back to itself, which is straight forward. Okay, and then after that, we're going to come out to this outer peg, go underneath, and grab that band that's under, take it up and over the peg, and place it back to itself on the peg in front. So you want to make sure that all of these are pressed down. Okay, so after we take that one up and over, we go down, down, down to the last band on that peg and pull it forward. So we're always pulling our band forward and then grabbing this band and pulling it up and over like that. And then what catches that is we're going to take and pull this bottom one forward again. So then that locks the wrap bands in place. So you just take it, pull on it a little bit, up and over. And just be super careful. There's a lot of bands on that peg. So forward and then wrap. Forward. And then wrap. Forward, wrap. Okay, so that makes our whole bracelet stay together on this side. And then we do the same on this side here, but I can't move it to the side because I am left-handed, so I have to do it from the front. So first comes up this band, and then we want to make sure that these bands are all pressed down. And then we have this side one. Pull it out, up, and then we grab the next one that's going to go forward, and then our wrap band on top. So forward, and wrap. Forward, and then wrap. Okay, so let's finish that up, and then when you're all done and you've reached the end of your loom, we're going to go ahead and loom in these bands to the center, and then we have our center band here for close up, and then we'll meet back and when we have it off our loom. Okay, and voila, we have the abstracto bracelet by the fabulous MsLoom. Super happy with how this one turned out. And no, I did not take the time to untwist the back bands, but I did put bling seed beads, and I did change it up. I put it on the second row of the chains on the bracelet, and they were able to just pop out every other one in between the wrap bands. And so this is like Sweets Brown, and these are the Trendex purple bands, and these are all blue seed bead to try to match the blue in that middle. And then these bands in the center underneath are the purple sweets, and then the bands on top are the two-toned with that same color purple underneath. So super happy with how this turned out. I love it. So abstracto bracelet, MsLoom. So please make sure that you do give her a follow and click on her account below so you can see the original design that she has created, and make sure that you give her a shout out and let her know how great all of her designs are and how much we appreciate her work. So again, thank you for joining me, and we have a ton more coming up. So please stay tuned. Thanks guys. Bye bye.